Right, welcome once again to the Ultimate InDesign Beginner to Advanced course. Now, we have to make sure that your setup is the same as mine, which we have to look at the increments and the unit before we come to how to set up a document. So now, you go to Edit, then you come to Preferences. If you can see it, you have to come down a little bit with this sign here. So you go to Preferences and come to Units and Increment. Now, there are some things that you have to change here. Now, you have to look at the units and increment when we have the horizontal. If you are familiar with the pixels, you can use them, but here we'll be using inches. So you change it to inches wherever you find it. If it is on picas, points, just change it millimeters, change it to inches on the horizontal, and the vertical to change it to inches, and the spread, let it be on spread over here, same thing. And maybe you want to change your language, you can also change from the dictionary over here, and then maybe you change to US, or maybe you change it to English, United Kingdom, English, USA, legal, anything, any language that you want to use, you can change it from here. So that's it. So with this, I will stick to USA or UK. So it's either, let's use UK, because since we use UK the language mostly, so you can change it to UK, but I'll stick mine to USA. And with this, after doing this, let's see if our units and increments the same thing. So it's inches, and then we'll click on OK. Now, in setting up a document, you can either click on Create New and you create a new document, or you can either come to File, New, File, New, and create a new document. Or you can open recently things that you've done. You can open it from over here, or you can open any InDesign file with the use of open, or you can open a picture with using this. You can also place a picture with the place over here. Import XML files, you look at that in the later lessons, or you can import PDF and other things. So that's it. So let's use the create new over here. So we'll create a new document. So when it opens this way, what you have to do is that the document preset should be on default. The custom is, maybe you want to use your own custom preset, but let's maintain default for now. And the intent should always be on print. Because print is like where you get the letter A4, and the others. Web is with the internet. When you want to design something for the web or internet, you see it has changed to landscape over here. So, and mobile is like mobile phone. Yeah, so we will look at those things later. Okay, so let's keep it on print. And if your facing pages is on, turn it off, because you will be also only using one page. So make sure your facing pages is turned off. And we are going to create a magazine. When you want to create a magazine, you have to use A4. And when you want to create a newspaper, you can either use tabloid, is for those in the USA, or you can use letter for creating a newspaper, or have some already existing ones that I've made with local, for our local newspapers, and this is sports for our sports newspaper. So let's keep it on what we call the A4 for the when we want to create a magazine. So we have to keep it on A4. Now let's look at the weight. A4, the weight is 8.2677 inches, and the height is 11 point. You can increase it anyhow you want it. Okay, you can either do it landscape, but this you want to use portrait, you want to use landscape because of the magazine that you want to do. Now, columns is the spaces between the pages. So now you can see this. These are the columns. There are guidelines that helps us in placing our letters and images. And the gutter here that you see here is the spaces between the columns over here. So that's the when you increase it, then you see that it increase back. So we'll be using custom ones later. We mostly use the 0.125 inches in this lesson. So let's the column be 1 because we are coming to design what we call a magazine, so the column should be only 1 over here. Now the margins are the imaginary lines that helps us in aligning documents and images. So these are the margins. So we have the we will use 0.5 inches for the margins, so it will help us to align our images and what we call the writing. So these are the margins over here. These are the margins over here. So you can, if you want to change them differently, if you want the top to be different from the what we call the bottom, you have to unlink it. Click on this to unlink it. So but we will use the same thing since we are designing a magazine. Now let's look at the bleed and slag. The bleed is what we call the red lines. There's a red line which it will come here. That one is the bleed. So we will set our bleed to 0.125 inches. You set it to 0.125. So the lines that you see over here, the red lines here, they are the, make sure you turn on the preview. Make sure you turn on the preview so that you can see what we are doing over here. So the slag is also a little bit more on the outside. So the slag can come somewhere here. The most, when you are using it for printing, that's where you add the what we call the slag. So you can write here, maybe glue page 1, glue this page to page 25, glue this page to page 10. So that's where you need a slag when you are printing it. But when you are sending it to a website, or maybe you want to use it on your Facebook post, in your Facebook post, you don't need the slag and what we call the bleed, because it won't be needed. We won't cut any places off. But when you are sending to print, all this bleed will be cut off. The bleed will be cut off. So you make sure that your designs come up to the bleed and it will be cut off, so that what will happen is your graphic or maybe your magazine will be perfect. So the bleed will be cut off. So slag won't be used mostly, and I can assure you that you may not use the slag in your designs when you become a graphic designer or good with InDesign. So the number of pages will be 1. You turn off the facing pages. Make sure with magazine is A4. With newspaper, you can choose tabloid or letter, and also make sure that the weight will be 8.2677 inches. So do this setting so that it will be the same as mine, and we can continue. The column will be 1. The gutter is 0.125 inch, but with only 1 column, the gutter won't show. Okay, unless you add more columns before the gutter will show. The margin should be 0.5 here. It will help us in aligning our text and images, and also the bleed 0.125, which is this place. So that's it. So after you've done this, you move on to create. Click on OK, and you will begin to create your InDesign document. So with this, you will be able to create a new magazine or any other. So we'll move on to the next lesson. Thank you.